Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval Creed. Today we'll be reviewing the second set of torpedoes for Yukikaze, or Arashi as I renamed her. However, before that, I do want to let you know that there have been some changes to the ship itself. I believe her health points were increased, and her heal that she is able to equip has had an increase in the number of charges you can use. So there's now 2 charges versus 1. So the first video that I used on her, I did use the speed boost because that 1 charge didn't really do much. But now that there's 2 charges, I think that she may end up being a little bit more better with that. So I am going to run her with the dual charges instead of the speed boost. However, I will still use the torpedo reload booster instead of the smoke screen. So we will have plenty of torpedoes to dish out. Let's hear. The ship itself is pretty much the same ship that we went over yesterday and the one that we reviewed the first time that we reviewed the ship. So we have 6 dual 5-inch guns arranged in 3 turrets. We have 2 quadruple torpedo launchers. We do have quite a bit of AA for a Japanese destroyer at 65 DPS total. However, even that is still pretty trash. And so, for example, Fletcher Tier 9 has, was it 129 DPS total? Same with Halford. Then Akazuki has like 131 or something up there. So it's not terrible for a Japanese destroyer, but it's terrible for a destroyer in general. So no special anti-aircraft capabilities. Fully concealed, she is 5.8 kilometers with 3.1 kilometers for air detectability. So yeah, she's still pretty much the same gun, 35 knots, 10.1 main gun range. So the original torpedoes we went with the first game were the 20-kilometer torpedoes that did less damage, were slower, were detected, actually had better stealth capability, but had lower flood chance, but you did have increased range, and your most importantly, your rate of fire was increased. But today's torpedoes, we have a lot of damage, 20,400. They only go out to 12 kilometers. They are quite fast at 68 knots. The rate of fire is kind of trash. And detectability range is meh. And then torpedo flood chance is meh as well. Um, but let's see what my rate of fire is now. So I have it up to 0.67. But yeah, the rate of fire is the main game changer with these torpedoes. Or if you really want to think about it, the range. But honestly, 12, 20, there's not much of a difference there in terms of effectiveness. But that rate of fire is quite important because at tier 9, your guns aren't really going to do anything. You can hold your own kind of against destroyers. Your alpha damage is good, so you can do a lot of damage in your first couple salvos, but your rate of fire is pretty trash in itself. It is 9 rounds a minute, so with Kagero having 10 rounds a minute, you were able to see how it was slightly better, but maybe not. Actually, what do I have mine up to with all my buffs? Oh, I have mine up to 10.5 rounds a minute, so maybe it won't be too bad. Regardless, let's toss her into the game and see how these 12-kilometer torpedoes, along with the heal, can help us today. Alright, here we have ourselves a game. 1 carrier, 2 battleships, 3 cruisers, 3 destroyers, so pretty decent game. I am immediately going to turn off my AA because it will not really help me anyways. Let's see here. Those battleships are pretty powerful. Frete de Gros has good secondaries. Missouri is actually quite maneuverable, and it's quite hard to land torpedoes if she's moving around. Cruisers, I can actually Citadel the light cruisers. Alaska, not so much. The destroyers, I will be able to out-detect them quite easily. And my guns should do a decent amount of damage. And then the carrier attacks, well, you can't really do much about that anyways. So I do have health buffs and speed buffs applied, so do keep that in mind. I do have mine almost up to 30,000 health as a tier 9 destroyer. I think that's almost more than my Yukikaze. I haven't played her in a while, and not since the newest ornament has been applied. So that gave me a little bit more health as well. So 12 kilometer torpedoes. Here's the torpedo angles. Not the worst, not the best either. It's definitely not something like Fletcher. Well, maybe it is. I was thinking of the gun angles of Fletcher, but at least it's not like Jutland. Those are trash. Alright, so let's see what we can do. There's the Tashkent, easily out-detected. And we have the Missouri on our side, as well as the Worcester. So we can technically start shooting this Tashkent, and we have fast guns with 950 meters per second shell velocity. Pretty decent damage as well. But she's gonna smoke up, so we're not too worried about that right now. I think I am gonna send out some of my torps towards this Worcester, because I think she might sail in a straight line. And then the Missouri is also heading this way, so we can rush her for additional damage. We are kind of spotted by this Tashkent, but we keep coming in and out of detectability. So I'm not too worried about it right now. So this Tashkent should be in full, yep, there we go. Full detectability now. Let's get some work done on her. Almost 4,000 damage. Tashkent does have a heal. I don't think the bots can use it though. I don't think I've ever seen them use heal on the destroyers. We were able to get a torpedo hit on this Worcester. Let's launch some more. And also switch over to armor piercing, see if we can get some armor piercing damage. Ooh, the Missouri one on the other side of the island there. We did get a Citadel, but it doesn't matter considering our torpedoes were able to finish her off. Let's see, what are our torpedoes at? Not the best, honestly. We do have to wait quite a while for that second set of torpedoes to reload. I might have to use a reload booster here. That's fine with me. Alright, so we are going to rush this Missouri. And I think we'll be able to cap this space as well. Yep, there we go. Alright, going to give a narrow profile to the Missouri. Might as well send some shots her way. Maybe we'll get a fire. Or just shatters, that's fine. Alright, so our torpedoes do 20,000 damage each. So even with Missouri's torpedo damage resistance, we should only need one launcher. But I do have that torpedo reload booster just in case that is incorrect. She is saturated, I think, that's why she survived. But I think we can let our team deal with her anyways. We'll just send a couple. Yep, there we go. Parting salvos. And then I can either go after the cruisers and other ships here, or I can go after the carrier. I kind of want to go after the other ships, honestly. Let's see what she... I might send some torpedoes out her direction, though. You never know. Though it's going to be close but because of the island right here. And they're going to be spotted by the aircraft, so maybe not. I think I just will hold on to them. Yeah, by the time they actually reach her, I think she'll be out of range. Alright, so even without speed boost, I am hitting almost 40 knots. You look like you're coming for me, so let's turn on the AA just for the little bit of damage we might be able to do. Yep, being dive bombed. That hurts. No thanks. Alright, so I kind of did use one of my heals already. I shouldn't have done that though, because I didn't really lose a lot of my health. So that was kind of a waste on my end. I think the health or the heal on this is pretty decent, or at least it is on Udachi. Not quite sure on Yukikaze, but maybe you should wait until about like half your health is down before you heal, depending on the situation, of course. Alright, so we do have 12-kilometer torpedoes. Let's see if we can nail this Rede de Cross with them before she gets around that island. And we are also going to cap this base as well. There's a little bug right here. I'm not quite sure where that is. I wonder if it'll hit me if I go in between it. Okay, so what are you doing? You're staying in a straight line. That's fine with me. How's the carrier looking? Half dead. Bum, bum, bum. And honestly, our Torpedo de Gros should be able to take care of all these ships herself if I take out the battleship. I think she's going to outrun those torpedoes, so no torpedo hits just yet. I am outside of secondary range, so I could try and light a fire on her. In fact, that's actually what I'm going to try and do. Nope, there goes both of those cruisers that were engaging our battleship. Getting a little damage from our guns, but not a lot. Like I said, you're not a gunboat by any means. Yeah, our torpedoes almost had the range, but did not. If we had the 20 kilometers, though, we definitely would have hit her. Because the carrier is almost down. Goodbye. And so it was a good choice to come down this way, but we're still not really doing much right now. I do hope to rush this Torpedo de Gros, though, and get some more damage, but it looks like the carrier is focusing on her, so she might not last long enough for us to take her out. But we can still work on the destroyer a little bit. I'm going to turn my AA back off so we can get as much concealment as possible. We're still out of detectability range, so unless she has some random burst of energy, she should not have any kind of move to dodge these torpedoes. It was a 5.8, so I still have a good kilometer to play with right now. Our torpedoes are en route. My torpedo reload booster has been completely unused this entire game, so that should be a kill right there. And then we can go have a gun duel with this Arashi ourselves, considering we still have a lot of our health plus another heal. Alright, so as the last ship, let's keep going. Immediately gets a fire. As you can see, I have 13, well, completely full health, both between my ship and this ship. I have, what, 13,000 more health? I have almost an entire new ship. So I do expect her to be launching torpedoes, maybe. However, I will be able to sink her with guns before that ever happens. Might as well use the last heal. And there we go, we have our last kill. So, let's see how we did damage-wise. I don't think we did that good, but maybe. 156,000 damage, 3 ships sunk, 86 shell hits, 9 torpedo hits, 1 citadel hit, 1 fire, 3 floodings, 2 capped bases, and 4 defended caps for 8,700 base XP and 11,000 free XP since she is a prism ship. We had 28,000 damage in high explosive and armor piercing, just a little bit of armor piercing. Fires did less than 2,000 damage. We got 3 floodings, that's actually not terrible. And then torpedoes did 125,000 damage. As you can clearly see, the most damage you're going to get out of the ship is from your torpedoes. So you do have to be relatively good with them. Your guns are not terrible, but they're not going to save you in it by any means, even against other destroyers. If you come across like a Fletcher, yeah, unless you have your heal ready, you're going to take a lot of damage and quite possibly be sunk. So do keep that in mind. However, this ship is still pretty decent, though you do have to be a pretty experienced player, I guess you could say, in order to make her really shine. I have had some really good games with her, and I've had some really bad games with her. It's just how the game rolls. With that, I will wrap up today's video. If you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe. And join me tomorrow while we go over the second set of torpedoes for Samson. Honestly, you should really just have the upgraded ones, but there is the change in rate of fire, which is kind of, well, it's not a make or break deal, but it's not a big deal either. So it'll be a relatively easy game to show how and why you should be using these instead, but it's still an option. So again, thank you for watching and take care.